It is Money Monday. You already know San Francisco is one of the highest real estate markets in the country, partly fueled by the high-tech jobs. But according to Indeed Hiring Lab study released today, even highly paid tech workers are being priced out, and they are looking for jobs in more family-friendly cities. National business reporter Brian Banmiller joins us now. Brian, thanks for being here with us.
You bet.
So Brian, Indeed surveyed these job searches done by these tech workers. Certainly an interesting study when you get into it. Tell us what they found out, and also what was your biggest takeaway?
Well, actually, it's a fascinating study. Think of this, the very tech worker salaries that help push home prices to record levels here, well, they're coming back to bite them in their wallets. And here's why. Most techies in their 20s work 24/7, but for many, turning 30 means starting to raise a family. That's hard to do in San Francisco by the Bay, where the median rental unit costs more than $4,000 a month, and homes cost more than $1 million. So here's what today's study found. If you take a look here, San Francisco tech workers aged 31 to 40 looking for a job in a different part of the country increased 12% in the past year. And even among all tech workers, those looking for jobs outside the Bay Area increased 8%.
So, Brian, that is just 12% in 1 year. You got to see if this will be a trend that will keep on going. So if not the Bay Area, where are they looking at?
Well, actually, it's kind of interesting because there are tech jobs in other parts of the country, if you really think about it. For instance, they list San Diego. An average priced home echoes for $531,000. By the way, that's half the price of San Francisco. Austin, where the average price home goes for $184,000, and Atlanta, the average price home goes for about $182,000. That's a lot cheaper than Baghdad by the Bay, and of course, it's a lot easier for people to raise their families.
So yes, certainly cost of living lower there in their cities, but doesn't that also say the same for the salaries there? So can these same tech workers that are used to working here in Silicon Valley in the Bay Area, can they get decent salaries in San Diego or Austin? Atlanta?
Well, you know, it's a trade-off. No. Your short answer is no. They'll make maybe 2/3 of the salary they'd make in the city, but the cost of housing is a lot cheaper, so it becomes a trade-off. The good news is, as they move into their 30s and want to start a family, they can better afford it there. And the other piece of good news is that technology is not just in San Francisco. Austin is opening up a high-tech hub. Even New York has a tech hub, Atlanta. So this whole technology stuff is really spreading out.
Well, Brian, what about the people who still love the Bay Area or love California, want to work here, and that they're moving just farther out and commuting in? So maybe they're moving, you know, Vacaville or Vallejo.
Yeah, it's amazing. Of course, we all love to live in San Francisco, but I myself moved out years ago to the East Bay, and a lot of other people are doing that. When you take a look at the survey, they actually show you the highest cost of living per city, and you take somewhere in the middle. Let's take where we are right now in Oakland. The cost for a house in Oakland is less than half what it costs in San Francisco. And by the way, the bad news there is that home prices are now going up to own a home and to rent in the Oakland area. Then as you move farther out, yes, it does get cheaper, which means you'll have to rely on BART. But the whole thing's a trade-off. It's really one of those typical good news, bad news stories.
And where does it go from here? The city, they realize what's going on. Can they, or are they doing anything to change it?
Well, yeah, you know, Mayor Lee talks about building more affordable housing. That takes a lot of work on the part of developers to do that. He's talking about giving loans to people to start for a down payment for a house. He's talking about a way to make teachers' salaries better so that they can stay in the city. But, you know, I have to tell you, I've been covering real estate for 40 years here in the Bay Area, and I've heard these stories for 40 years. The market goes up, it goes down. It goes up, it goes down. Politicians come in and they say, we can do this and we can do that to fix it. You get another election and nothing gets fixed. I don't really think in the short term this is really good news if you want to buy a house or rent.
Wow, okay, so some people are looking to just move on from the Bay Area.
And that's a shame.
National business reporter Brian Banmiller. Brian, thank you.
You bet.